Want to know how to make a doormat with Cricut? In this video, I'm doing a Harry Potter Cricut craft, and at the end of the video, I'll share a featured blooper. Hi, my name is Kim with Kimagine DIY, where I hope to help you imagine the possibilities with DIYs and crafts. If that sounds like fun, consider subscribing. Now let's just jump into this project. First, I went to Google to find a Hogwarts Express sign that I would like to use. I also find it helpful to use the Images tab to see everything in front of me. Then I will right-click to open the image in a new tab to check the quality of the photo. If you're happy, have your mouse over the image, right-click and save image as. Title your image so you can find it easier later. Since I have already downloaded it, I'm just going to overwrite this file. Then it's time to jump into Cricut Design Space and open a new project. Next, we're going to go to Upload, Upload Image, and select Browse. Find the image that you have saved and click Open. I'm selecting Simple here, so there's a high contrast, so it's easier to remove the background. I use the magic wand first, and then select the eraser to manually remove any parts or details that the automatic eraser missed. Use the preview button down at the bottom to double check that your image is clean and exactly how you would want it. Then title your SVG. And putting tags are great to make something searchable on a larger scale. Like if I just tapped in Harry Potter and saw all the SVGs that can go with that search. Now select your uploaded image and click Insert. To decide how large I would like my stencil to be, I'm actually creating a template so I can see how it would look against the size of the doormat. So go over to Shapes, select Square, and resize it to the size of your doormat. Since it's going to be a rectangle, make sure you hit the unlock button when inputting the height and width. And then you can select a color that is close to your doormat. I zoomed out and selected my doormat, went over to the Arrange button to send it to the back so it can reveal the SVG again. Now resize your SVG until you're happy with how the design looks on your doormat template. Once you're satisfied, you can just hide the template because you're not going to be cutting that out. So in the right side layers bar, you can see the warning that this image is too large for the cutting machine. So then we're just going to need to slice the image into two. Go over to Shapes, select Square, hit the unlock button, so you can resize the image to fit directly over the words in my case to cut it out. Then select both your rectangle and SVG and go over down to your slice tool, hit slice, and delete the excess. Now we're ready to click Make It. For this project, you are going to need the large cutting mat. And I'm using Stencil film, which is linked below. Cut the stencil film to the size that you will need and use a brayer or a scraper to make sure it's completely flat on your cutting mat. Question of the day: what Harry Potter craft would you love to make with your Cricut? Let me know in the comments below. You can see in the video that I did add another stencil, but I decided to remove it because it made the mat a little too busy. When weeding stencils, you kind of have to think backwards. You want to remove all the parts that you want to be seen on your mat. It's easier to work with words, but it can get very tricky if you're working with a design. Here you can see that my Cricut Cut Setting is actually a little too strong. It shouldn't go through the film and the paper. And this is why you're supposed to do test cuts. But sometimes I just get impatient. I used a ruler to help find the center of the doormat and the center of each stencil design so I can line it up properly. Normally when you make a stencil, you use transfer tape to keep the design intact, and then it can easily be moved to whatever you're going to be painting. But the doormat, I was using, since it's all grass material, was not wanting to stick to it at all. So I ended up just removing the transfer tape and applying it just directly onto the mat and using blue tape to help keep it down. Since it was very difficult to lay the stencils down, I also decided just to place some blue tape directly onto the mat and then try to have the stencil stick to that to help. I centered the inner stencil first and then placed the outer one around it. And don't forget to add all the little pieces into each letter for your words. Then fully cover all the pieces that you do not want painted with some scrap materials. I'm going to shake the can very well and do some sweeping motions about 8 to 12 inches from your project. A reminder to have all those scrap materials taped down, because when I was spraying, sometimes the wind from the paint actually blew some of the pieces, moved a bit. You can see at the end that I got a little line somewhere where I didn't want. If you guys are getting any value, please hit that thumbs up button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I was so excited about this project, I completely forgot to hit record when removing all the stencils. But here is the finished project. I am so excited. It turned out way better than I thought. I thought because the stencil wasn't sticking, that it was actually going to be like bleed around and it wouldn't be quite clear, so I was very impressed. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to see more videos like this, click the card right here. And if you would like to see what YouTube suggests for you, click the card right over here. And don't forget to watch the blooper at the end, and I will see you guys next week. And resize it to the size of your doormat. Since